If you go to a shoe company, would you say that their prices are high?
You're trying to tell me it's all worth all that money.
Everything is worth what people are ready to pay.
Interesting quote. Obviously, there's some truth to it, but I have a problem with it. There's actually a chapter in my next book called The Uneducated Consumer. And in this chapter, I talk about how businesses intentionally exploit their own customers just to make a buck. Many of you know I am a filter manufacturer myself. I've been researching it for a couple of years now. I have a new product line coming, and my manufacturer asked me recently, are you going to be making UV filters? And my answer to him was absolutely not. Now, there's a little bit of a history behind this, is that when I started researching this and looking at ND filters, or neutral density filters, what I learned was that most manufacturers were creating products that were not truly neutral density, even though they were calling them neutral density. There's no oversight, there's no regulation on ND filters. You can make whatever crap you want and sell it. And that brings us back to this quote, everything is worth what people are willing to pay for it. What he's saying is, if a customer wants to buy this and they're willing to pay me that much money, it's not my problem, and he accepts the money. So legally, that's fine. Ethically, from a moral standpoint, I cannot sell a product that doesn't do something. ND filters, grad filters, polarizers, those all actually do things photographically. So I've been making a couple of these videos now. I talk about the press events. I've talked about journalists being caught cheating. And I think what a lot of this comes down to is I have a problem with deception in the photography industry, because I have a niece. She's a struggling college student. She's gonna save all her money to buy that one nifty 50 lens, for example. And when she's buying it, she's gonna have some sales clerk or some website trying to sell her these UV filters for UV light removal or for protection. And she doesn't need it. So 99% of the time, a UV filter is going to do nothing for you photographically. If you're using a digital sensor, many of you have this idea that it's a protection filter, that it'll protect your lens. Steve Perry, he did a great job, I believe, proving how little protection the UV filters really offer. And what he demonstrated is that the UV filter would break long before a lens would. And even reading some of his comments, people are talking about it prevents spray from seawater or blood, so you don't have to clean it off over and over again. Modern day lenses are very tough, they're very strong, and most of them have great coatings. Filter companies, when they're so careful to show these side-by-side images before and after of what an ND filter or a grad filter or a polarizer will do for your image, the question you should be asking is, how come they're not showing the before and after pictures for a UV filter? The only ones that I've seen were for film. Back in the day, there were some films that were sensitive to ultraviolet light. Yeah, it would make a difference back then, but almost everybody's shooting on digital sensors. If you go into these websites of these manufacturers and you read the descriptions of what it is they're selling with UV filters, one thing becomes painfully obvious, is that they know that the UV filtration does nothing for the image. And so then they do this dance where they list all these things, all these elements and things that it's going to cure for you. You don't even need it. I know this video is going to get a lot of hate. I know you guys are going to be angry with me, but 99% of the time, a UV filter is not going to do anything for you. I got burned by it too. When I first started, I bought UV filters for every lens that I had because I wanted to protect them and keep them clean and all those things. So those are my thoughts on UV filters. Save your money. Check out the links and the references below. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.